Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Grab your cup, take a sip. God, you know this coffee roaster coffee is so amazing. I wonder if they're on the internet. Yeah, look. It's revolutioncoffeeroasters.com. So if you really like coffee like me, order it online. It's the smoothest coffee I've ever had, ever. So good morning, Kristen. Good morning, Bronny. So today we are going to talk about trust. Good morning, Shelby. Trust is a big one, but we're gonna look at it two ways, okay? Good morning, Ivana. Because there's so many times where our trust has been broken by somebody else, right? Good morning, Keely. Good morning, Bronny. I was going to send you a notice telling you to get out of bed, but you did it. So, trust, what is trust, okay? Well, trust is basically this reliance. It's a reliance on somebody's character, ability, that they're going to step up, that they're going to show up. Hey, good morning from Virginia. Yay, Thacker and Company. I love it. But trust is basically, can I depend on someone? Can I depend on their truth, their strength, their reliability? But here's the problem. Sometimes it puts your own belief systems at risk, okay? So trusting in someone else at the same time puts your belief systems on the line. So if at any point in time ever there's a misalignment, the trust is then broken. And that's just sad, right? I know, Kristen, it is difficult. And so there's a couple things. The trust is little things. If you say you're going to be somewhere, you got to show up. Especially in LA. Honestly, this is a thing about LA. Well, people will make plans and then break them last minute. It's awful. Or they'll set a time to say, I'll be there at a certain time, and then they're notoriously always late. Oh, I'm sorry, traffic. Get over it. This is LA. Of course there's traffic. Come on. Don't give me something. Come on. We need to plan better, right? But each time that person shows up late, it breaks down the trust. Or, I don't know, maybe if you think back to your childhood or certain things in your life, or even for your own kids. But, I had a stepdad that is supposed to come and visit. And so we would sit on the steps, and I know this has happened to other people, but we would sit on the steps with our little bag all ready to go and just not show up. The person just wouldn't show up. And so that breaks trust, right? So now, are we anxious, or am I anxious that people show up on time? Yes, because if you don't show up, I feel like you abandoned me. But I'm not the only one. Come on, you guys. I know you guys have something similar in your life that you can connect that to. Because, as rare as we think it is, it's not. It's actually so much more common. See, Kristen? It's so much more common than we say. So this, really what I learned is to bring people in your life that you can truly trust, that are going to be there, that are going to show up, that you can rely on. And in return, it's about us also being there for them in the same way, keeping our word, showing up, being on time, being honest with them. Yes, Melissa, thank you. This is going to be, what is that called? A support group. Today's abandonment support group. So grab your cup and a toast to abandonment. All right. So how do you build trust with someone, right? Because it's up to us to kind of step forward first. Hey, I'm going to be there first. I'm going to show up first, right? How do I do that? Well, first it's giving that person time. All right, giving them time, giving them effort, showing up for them, being supportive for them. It's also helping them. Helping anybody really builds trust, okay? Don't hide your feelings. And another thing, so what happens too is, again, I don't know, I think it's human nature, but we won't be fully honest with someone. But we're all intuitive. So if you're not being honest, don't you think the other person knows? So how many times has someone not been honest with you, but you know it? You know something's not jiving quite right, and you're not sure what it is. But instead of you fantasizing and creating all this stuff that may not be there, just ask them. Because whatever is misaligned may have nothing to do with you. But if you create this story inside your head as to what it's about, you know, you could really suffer and break down that communication just because you're not being honest. You're not saying, I know something's up. What is it? Call them out. It's okay. You know, your real friends are going to be there. The people you can trust are going to still be there, and they're going to appreciate the honesty around something. They're going to appreciate that you're just being truthful, because when you're not, we know, people know. But the yeah, see, and that's the other thing. And master of space and time, you must first get to that space on time. I love that. That's so true. So true. And there was this thing on Facebook about being on time that I really, really loved. And it makes a difference, though, because I've got a couple friends. I've got one friend, and she's honestly almost always on time or within a few minutes. And, you know, it actually makes me feel safe. So if we make plans and we set a time and she's there, even if it's a few minutes, and if she's going to run a few minutes late, she'll send me a text message, just letting you know. And I have to tell you, it makes me feel safe. And that really, really helps. Whereas I have another friend that is notoriously late. And so I kind of stopped making plans because I'm like, you know, my time is worth something too. Your time is worth something as well. And if someone kind of can't show up, then maybe it's not important enough to them. But, you know, if they're communicating and letting you know if there's something in particular, then that makes a big difference, okay? Now, another thing that builds trust, don't make decisions on the fly. You know, think about the decision, because if you commit to it, you want to stick to it, all right? So if you say, oh, yeah, that sounds great, but you're not really thinking and you don't want to do it, and you realize later you can, or whatever the case may be, well, now you're breaking something. You're breaking something you committed to. Okay? Another thing that we can do, honestly, is admit when we're wrong. We all make mistakes, and to think that you don't make mistakes is just ridiculous. Of course you make mistakes, and we all do. And we all maybe we say something or do something. Maybe it's not even intentional. But if it's hurt someone's feelings, or if it has created something, just say, you know, listen, certainly that was not my intention. That's not even where my head was when this happened. But yeah, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry if it made you feel that way. But we also have to communicate together, because what happens is people they don't say something that's on their mind, and again, then our imagination kicks in, right? So something's happening, but they're not communicating, and then their imagination kicks in, where they're building up all these scenarios about something, and then that's it. Like it just becomes too much. So if you can kind of communicate along the way, if something's upsetting you, share it with someone, but do your part and be on time, you will build that trust. You really will. And always doing what you believe is right. That's also key. You can't go around doing what someone else thinks is right. You have to be true to you. And as long as you know you're doing what you think is right, what you feel is right, You're being authentic to yourself. And that in itself is building trust. You know who you are. You know what you're about. So don't make someone else question that. Don't allow people to question that, okay? Because you know what your intentions are. You know what your thinking is. And if you make a mistake, you say, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. It wasn't my intention. I think you have to recognize people who won't meet your expectations. Well, I guess, Kristen, my answer would be, why are we putting expectations on people? So my answer is, maybe if we loosen up, because no one's ever going to meet our expectations. If we put these expectations on people, no one's ever really, there's going to be, at a point, there's going to be something where someone doesn't meet it. Okay, there's going to be some point where someone fails us. So if you're putting expectations on people, okay? So what we can do is have our own boundaries. My boundaries are these. My hardcore boundaries, you got to show up. You cannot not show up. Like, I can't handle that. So if you can't care about this relationship enough to show up, this relationship won't work for me. But I'm not going to put the expectation on you. It's just my personal boundary. So maybe kind of looking at it that way might help a bit. So, but participate. Okay, so we have to participate. This isn't a solo act. You know, whatever people are going to be in your life, regardless if it's a work environment, a family environment, relationship, whatever that is, it's got to be we participate together. All right. And it's really, really good. Like, my family is fantastic about, well, they're probably a little too good at it. I mean, anybody who's got a Jersey family knows what I'm talking about. They'll just start yelling how they're feeling about something, and then they'll communicate. But at least there's communication. It's not talking about something. They'll communicate. Oh, good, Kristen. I see. Perfect. You see what I'm saying? I love that. But yeah, it's but being honest with yourself, giving this relationship time, working on the communication. No two people are going to communicate the same way. It's impossible. You know, you are your own divine being. You're your own unique person. So no two people are going to communicate the exact same way. So what happens is you know, being a friend or building that trust is learning how does somebody else communicate. How does somebody else communicate? And then how do I communicate? And then how do we blend those two? So I say not let them in, Bronny. I say let Bronny's repairman just showed up. I say let him in, sit him down, and make him watch this Coffee with Colby. Anyhow, I will just say that. Now, when you make a decision, commit to it. When you say you're going to be somewhere at a time, show up on time. When you're having an issue with someone, please share it. Talk to them about it. Don't make assumptions. Don't create these wild imagination stories inside your head. It's not going to help. It just isn't. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help the other person. It's not going to help anyone. Because again, we create these illusions and these perceptions that may not be the reality. And also look at where you're making mistakes. Where could you be a better communicator? Where could you express yourself more? And where are your belief systems? You know, can you shift your belief systems? What belief systems do you have can be shifted? And what are the hardcore boundaries that you're just not going to shift on? So look at know yourself enough to know what are the boundaries, so that you know what to hold, what to hold on to, what to let go of. All right. What can you compromise on in someone else's shift and knowledge and boundaries so that their trust is built? But what do you need to also hold on to for yourself? Because I don't believe people are out to hurt one another. I really don't. I think we are definitely all here to help one another. I believe in such goodness in people. People are so innately good, wonderful, wonderful human beings and souls. And yeah, there are times when that gets tested, and there are times when that breaks. but believing in that innate feeling of goodness just helps. It really helps with your perception and shifting and just the overall happiness. All right. So hopefully those are some guidelines just to kind of say, how can I work on my own trust? How can I trust other people? And look at the red flags. If you're seeing red flags, honor that, listen to that, call the person out on it. Ask them like, hey, was this on purpose? But give them the benefit of the doubt, for goodness gracious. Don't just start wagging your finger, please. Give them the benefit of the doubt, because most times if somebody has done something, it probably wasn't intentional. Probably wasn't. Not always, because, I had people at work that would do things behind my back that just awful, and that happens in life. And sometimes when everything comes to you at once, maybe Spirit's just trying to pull you out of that situation or that relationship, whatever the case may be. So it's this nice combination of what is my stuff? What are my boundaries? What can I work on? How can I build trust with people? What do I need from people for trust? And is my team trying to pull me out of something or put me in something or teach me a lesson? Or is it a karmic situation? So much to think about, but you have the rest of the day to do it. And you know what? Tomorrow is Party Day, Friday. So really, really quick, tonight, if you guys are around, it is 5 o'clock my time. 5 o'clock Pacific Coast time. That would be 8 o'clock East Coast time. I've got the Live with Colby Psychic Rebel show. You can just watch it on the Facebook channel. But I've got Rayvon Owen, who is American Idol finalist. Really fun story, which we'll talk about tonight, about his American Idol journey. And my co-host is Susan Pinsky, the wife of Dr. Drew Pinsky, and she is the host of her own show, Calling Out with Susan Pinsky, which I love being a part of. So we're going to have some fun. We may take some callers. We're going to talk to Rayvon. We're going to talk about his journey, which is unbelievable. And you guys can tune in. I'd love it, please, if you get a chance. And I will see you tomorrow here at 10 a.m. And thank you guys so much. Love you to pieces. Have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.